Hey, what's up everybody? So right now I'm going to show you how to set up Dustin and Devin's Hagley test server with the NPC Database Editor. So the whole idea behind the setup here is that I'm going to show you how to do it so that you can run PCSX2 and your Windows server on the same computer. Just makes it easier. There's less going back and forth. Just keep in mind you can do it on two separate computers. You're just going to want to disregard my entire VirtualBox setup if you're doing that. Alright, so let's get right to it. So first head over to the VirtualBox website. You can click right there, it'll bring you to their downloads page. You're going to want to download the Windows host and the extension pack from right here. So once you get those downloaded, you're going to want to first install VirtualBox. So it's going to look just like this, except there's going to be no operating systems over here the first time that you turn it on. So you're going to want to go over here to File, under Preferences, to Extensions. Then you're going to want to click here, and under your downloads, most likely you'll find your extension pack. Hit Open, and just follow the instructions and install that. Then you're going to want to head over to New. Type in Windows, whatever you're using. I recommend you use Windows 7 for this 64-bit. That's all I've really been testing it on. I'm sure it would work fine in 8, 8.1, or 10 though also. And I think their program is 32-bit, so it should work on 32-bit or 64-bit Windows operating systems. But again, for testing, I've always been using Windows 7 64-bit, so you have to find your own copy of that. I know most ISOs come with a free 30-day trial, so just so you know. You're just going to want to hit Next. I recommend you set the RAM in here to 4096 for 64-bit Windows 7. If you're running kind of low on RAM, you might get by with 3 gigs 3072, but I always go with 4096. Just hit Next, hit Create, hit Next here, dynamically located. 25 is a little small. I'd set this to like 40 in here just in case, and then hit Create, and then it's gonna set up your Windows 7 right over here. So before you run it the first time, I recommend you right click it, hit Settings, and you're gonna want to set your optical to be the top. Make sure optical is checked and at the top, and that hard drive is checked and set to the second, the first time you run it at least. After you shut it down the first time, you can uncheck optical and move hard disk up to the top. Under display, I recommend you click enable 3D acceleration and just turn video memory up all the way. Under storage, you're going to want to click right here. Click here, choose virtual optical disk file, and then that is where you would choose your Windows ISO. So whatever operating system you're using, click that there. Under audio, you can just uncheck and disable audio. It's just wasted resources using it. And under network, you're going to want to set it to a bridged adapter, and that will just basically make it so that your operating system that you're running in VirtualBox is seen by your network as just a separate computer. So then just hit OK. And now you're going to start up and install your operating system. But then once it's all done installing, the first thing you want to do is go over here to Devices and insert your Guest Edition CD image. That will allow you, that's just basically like a driver pack. It'll allow you to drag and drop files back and forth between your two operating systems and other cool stuff like that. But it also seems to make the virtual operating system a little bit more responsive having that installed. Another thing that I like to do is just if I'm running it like a virtual machine like this, is to go into Personalize and set it to Windows Classic, and that'll just basically set it to a XP type theme, again using less resources. And then all you really have to do to set up this is right click over here under your networking and open your network and sharing center, change your adapter settings, and then you want to right click that and go under properties. So I always uncheck IPv6 just because this game never doesn't use any IPv6, and it's just kind of a waste to have it. It might cause issues having it checked. I'm not entirely sure. I would just uncheck it. And under IPv4, you're going to want to go under there, click Properties, and if you're using the included memory card image from the client setup page, then this is the settings you want to use right here. Get those all set up, hit OK, and close out of there. Alright, so then the last thing you really need is the files. So you're going to want to download the Hagley test server folder from here, the face and hair folder from here, and that was just for the NPC editor that Dustin's been working on. And you want to download the packet database file from right here. So once you get all those set up, go over to whatever your download page is. Actually, I'll just go right into my downloads. And then you want to extract the 3 files that you would have just downloaded. So you just want to go like that. And if you're using 7-zip, you can just go like that and extract it like that. And it'll make the folders for you right there. So you'd want to I recommend you take your HagNew folder, just copy it right over to your desktop here. The packets, you'd want to go in here and take just the DB file and this entire face and hair folder here, and these have to be placed directly under your C drive, just like the way I have it right here. So if those aren't set up like that, I don't believe their program will start. So another small troubleshooting things, I recommend when you first start the test server, go under Properties and just set it to run as administrator just in case. You want to set it to the highest level of resources it can use because that's all you're running. And I also recommend that you either set the HagNew folder as an exemption in your antivirus, or like I'm using, don't even use an antivirus at all because it could potentially interfere with their server program or the packets going back and forth. Another small thing is if you want to edit that DB packet folder, I recommend you use this program here, the DB browser for SQLite. But then that's pretty much it. So to run the server, again, you'd want to go to test server, set it as administrator. The first time you run it, it's going to ask you if you want to allow it to access your network or whatever. Just hit yes. And now Dustin had it set up for his IP address, and he uses a different address. So you'd want to hit stop, go like that, and change just that to 1, and then hit start. And again, that's only if you're using my included memory card file for PCSX2. So then you'd be all ready to run. This would connect to PCSX2 right now. It's an all-in-one DNS, login, and UDP server. So I hope that helped everybody. If you have any questions, you can either ask me on the Facebook page or just post them right on the YouTube video here. Thanks for watching.